I think Ernie's was built, yeah, right at the beginning of the 60s, wasn't it? 55? 59. 1959. I was 9 years old when that car was built. These cars, well, most of them here, they all run on nitromethane. I don't know how many of you heard earlier heard the speech. What is nitromethane? You want to hear it again?
Sure.
Okay, nitromethane is not a fuel. Well, it's a fuel. It's not a petroleum-based product. Back in 1872, it was invented. It's a chemical, and it's invented to be a solvent, which it still is. And until just a couple, about 20 years ago, it was used in all the major dry cleaners to clean your clothes. It wasn't until the 1930s they found out you could actually detonate it. But it's very difficult to detonate. It takes a lot of heat, a lot of pressure to make the stuff explode. So it's a very safe solvent to be around. Its primary use today, the number one use today, is in agriculture to prepare soil to plant strawberries. So that's why you guys like strawberries. It's also used in a lot of medicines that you take. And it has a lot of use as a solvent, but we're racers, so we found out that it makes a lot of horsepower when we put them inside an engine. And the reason it does that is that it has its own oxygen molecules as part of its composition, where regular gasoline does not have that. It has to pull the air and oxygen out of the atmosphere to do it. As a result, we can put 7 times the amount of fuel in the cylinder at each cycle and still ignite it because it has so much of its own oxygen already in it. The more fuel you can ignite inside a cylinder, the bigger the bang, the more the horsepower. Most of these cars have got 392 Chrysler Hemis, which were all built in 1957, 58. And when they were in those Chrysler Imperials back then, they put out about 175 horsepower. With the addition of injectors, a supercharger, and nitromethane, these engines all put out about 2,500 horsepower now. A little different than when they were those Imperials. The length of the cars all varies, as you can see. The technology back in the 50s and 60s was very high tech as to how long to make your car. What you did, you went out in your garage and you measured how big a car would fit in your garage. And you ordered your chassis accordingly. Now, every once in a while, I don't know if I know there's houses right here in Long Beach, because I know guys that did it. They measured wrong. So if you ever drive by a guy's house and you look at a garage door and you see this little addition wooden box on the front of their door, they didn't measure right for their dragster. Okay, first car up here we go. We got the Smirnoff and... oh, Shutterbug! We're going, light them.
A high-energy screamer would have been very inappropriate for a certain race held in Southern California in December of 1972.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6,
That was the number one song in October 1955. That same year, Juan Fangio won the World Driving Championship. The Brooklyn Dodgers defeated the Yankees in the World Series, and Lions Drag Strip opened, changing the face of professional drag racing. This Friday and Saturday nights, Lions stages the last drag race to end an 18-year reign as the nation's foremost drag racing plant. Progress may be forcing Lions out, but the last drag race will ensure that its legend never fades. A full NHRA event including all eliminators, official national records, and a $40,000 purse. Virtually every big-name pro in the sport will be on hand to say goodbye to the beach. 400 drivers taking their last shot down the sport's quickest asphalt. Qualifying and record runs this Friday, 3 to 10 p.m. and all day Saturday. Racing action begins this Saturday night at 6 p.m. Make sure you can say, I was there at the last drag race.